Emmys and spikes, we must all arrive at the win condition.
Hello again, and welcome back to the Win Condition Podcast, your source for lore, news, and brews in the Magic the Gathering community. My name is Sean. I'm your host. I'm joined by my co-host, Greg. How's it going, Greg?
Having a good night tonight.
Fan-flippin-tastic. Me too. I mean, we're sitting right in between that sweet spot of spring and summer. I mean, I'm out here in Fresno where it is going to be about 120 degrees in a few weeks, but not yet. So, you know, I'm kind of chilling in the literal sense of the term, you know, a little bit, but you know, not really looking forward to the near future. But that's
I mean, if I was in your position, I wouldn't be looking forward to either.
Right, physically, yes. However, I am very much looking forward to the future of Magic and what is coming our way. I cannot wait to get to our news and announcements segment, Greg, because, I mean, there's been so much happening in the last couple of weeks. It's crazy.
There really has been. I mean, last week was a huge surprise for a lot of players, and, well, we're just not going to spoil it yet.
No, not yet. Because first, we do have some ground to cover. We need to get into some serious Strixhaven nonsense when it comes to this lore. So why don't we catch you up to speed on the goings-on on Strixhaven down at Lore Corner.
You know, that place where we find out about information and how the story's going so we can look forward to where we're going after this.
Until Wizards turns it into a book that you have to buy. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, man, and then we're going to ignore it for another 3 years and get back to it.
And finally pick it back up, right? That you know what?
I know, right?
Dude, our gap in time when we've recorded has corresponded exactly to when Wizards has put the story back on the internet. Not exactly,
right?
But close, very close.
It's almost.
Right? But nonetheless, we are extremely excited to bring to you the story of Strixhaven, Cliff Notes version. So, without further ado, the school of Strixhaven more so follows along a story of a few of our main characters, our planeswalkers. We have Will and Rowan Kenrith, whom we first met on the plane of Eldraine, with all that, you know, Oko nonsense, turning their dad into an elk and whatnot. Anyway, they're kind of trying to get back to their roots to study up at Strixhaven University to hone their craft in order to become better mages. Will has been known to be the more controlling, concentrated blue mage, while Rowan is more the reckless, fly by the seat of her pants kind of, red mage. So they are heading to Strixhaven to, practice and figure out how to best utilize their talents. One of the professors at Strixhaven...
Wait, why didn't Garrick join them?
Well, Garrick was clicking his heels together, jumping around, all happy that he had his curse lifted, but I don't know, Greg. What's Garrick up to?
He's not a part of this. He left the story and is like, you guys got this. Kesmina's going to be there. It'll be fine. Just dial me on this interdimensional contact number and I'll come if you need me.
Oh, wow.
Because Garrick is a collar of beasts.
He's like Batman, but you shoot the bat signal.
Pretty much. Because, now he doesnn't need to be Veil Curse, so he has his own plans. He gets to be his own person again.
So do you shoot the Garrick signal through the blind eternities? Wouldn't that, disturb, Ulamog and Emrakul?
Well,
they might
they're
come
not
out.
there anymore, but...
That's true. But...
I think it's going to disturb Gideon more in his deathly place on
too
Theros.
soon.
Is it really? I don't know. I don't think it's too soon for Liliana.
Well, back to the subject matter. We have a friendly planeswalker, or one that we've known from previous lore, but she is under a different name here. So we have Liliana Vess posing as Professor Onyx, who is a professor at the University of Strixhaven. Liliana, as we find, is an alumni. She graduated from the Witherbloom School and is now back free from her, immediate past, seemingly, and wants to just, focus back on, the simple things in life. I'll just be a professor, I'm going to chill, I'm going to be here, everything's going to be fine. So then you have another side story where we have our friend Luca, whom we met a couple sets ago, the bonder who bonds with animals. In this case, he bonds with a fox, which is very interesting. They're pouncing through the forest, and then Kazmina is there, and she runs into Luca and says, "Excuse me, sir, what do you think you're doing?" And Luca's like, "Don't worry about it. Everything's cool." So then we go back to Strixhaven. And we see Will and Rowan coming onto campus, meeting everybody, saying, hey, what's going on? And they're witnessing these little duels going on between students. And they see one where they summon this inkling, and they're fighting. And then one of the opposing mages takes control of the inkling and ends up winning the fight. And someone says, stealing the mascot. That's pretty brilliant. And he says, you could always take control of a summoned creature. There's a spell for that. And I think it's funny, that's kind of a recurring saying as the story goes on. Oh, there's a spell for that. Something like that. Anyway, you finally learn that, as the studious type, Will is telling Rowan, hey, you're going out partying all the time with these Witherbloom people. Don't you need to study? And she's like, whatever, I'm good. I know what I'm doing. I'm learning enough, blah, blah, blah. And Will's like, Rowan, come on, we're supposed to be getting better at what we're doing. He's really, really pushing that. And Rowan's just like, I'm going to go party, whatever, see you later, bye. And so they're, obviously doing their, the character development goes on for a while. And then you start to see, we flash back to Luca, who Kazmina has now said, all right, she's actually battled with Luca. And there was this, it's kind of a stalemate. They hit each other, shields were up, everything was, and Kazmina's like, all right, fine, I'm out. Boom. And then Luca's there, and then you see...
Wait, she left the plane?
I believe so. I believe so.
Wow.
And then there, and then Luca's there, and then you see Extus coming up, and he starts talking to Luca, and Extus is the leader of this band called the Oryx. And on Strixhaven, the Oryx are the, evil bad guys that, you don't want to have them attack you because that would be bad. So back on Strixhaven campus, we see Will and Rowan meet for a little duel again. There's a lot of these duels going on. And it gets really, really heated because Will's, talking smack on Rowan. Rowan's like, you don't know me, get out of here. And she's crazy, so she'll use her powers, whatever. And it gets to be this real big thing. And then all of a sudden, Professor Onyx steps in and is like, whoa, chill, stop, hold on. You guys, come with me. And so they walk and they're talking, and she's like, you are obviously very powerful. What do you plan on doing with that power, And they're like, well, I want to, get better at it, da-da-da-da. And then there's this thing where it's like, I think it's at this point where they say something about, well, what would you do if this place was attacked? And they say, we would obviously fight. And they'd be like, well, do you think you'd be strong enough to fight him? And then they have this, kind of back and forth about, they're siblings. And, they bicker a little bit here and there. And so anyway, then we... kind of fast forward to the good part. The first couple chapters there's a lot of character development, but then it gets to the point where you see Extus talking to Luca again, and then there are these I don't know if you've ever seen Starship Troopers, but these creatures called Mage Hunters or Mage Slayers, one of the two. And there's
I think they were Mage Hunters.
Mage Hunters, thank you. And the reason why Extus went after Luca is because Luca is a bonder with massive powers, and he is able to bond with an army of these mage hunters. And so he is controlling them to now assault on Strixhaven. And Extus, we learn, is a student who went there and was kind of shunned. And is kind of coming back to say, hey, I'm going to do bad things to you because I felt persecuted. And it was bad, and you kicked me out, yada, yada, whatever. Anyway, so these mage hunters start sieging Strixhaven. All of a sudden, everyone's panicking. You got students, flying everywhere. And these mage hunters are coming in trying to cause a general ruckus. And so there's Will and Rowan, and they start shooting stuff out at these things coming at. And then Liliana or Professor Onyx is about to say, she's about to step up and be like, "Hey, let's stop this." And then boom, she gets teleported miles and miles away from the college. And she's like, "Oh my God! All right, well, guess I better start walking back." So she's basically removed from the rest of this whole entire thing. So back at Strixhaven, you have the army of mage slayers, mage hunters coming at them, and they are going after everybody, right? All the people are like, "Oh, where are we going to go? Where are we going to fall back to?" And they say the Biblioplex. And there is this place called the Hall of Oracles where Extus is ultimately trying to get to so that he can perform a rite that he is very powerful. So everyone's kind of fallen back to the Biblioplex, but they're too late because Extus already got there and he had performed this ritual where he had summoned the Blood Avatar. And there's all these statues of the ancients around, from Strixhaven's history. And this avatar is cleaving these things in half, just absolutely laying waste to this entire place. And so then you have, Will and Rowan show up, and they're like, "Oh, well, we got to fight this thing, take it out." And so they're fighting. Rowan's using her power, and Will's using his power. And then Rowan's like, I'm super mad right now. I'm unbelievably pissed, and now I'm going to become more powerful than anything. And so all of a sudden, all this energy just starts swirling around her, and she starts to just float in the air, and her eyes are ablaze, and she's just like shooting lightning everywhere and like blowing all this.
Would you say she was crackling with power?
She was definitely crackling with power. And her hair, there were sparks flying everywhere, too. It was crazy. And so she's basically going Super Saiyan on everybody. And then, all of a sudden, this big blast... Oh, no. That's right. She was drawing power from the snarl. And... Sorry, that's how Extus was using the energy to summon this blood avatar. And so when they were like, we might...
That's crazy.
Yeah, they were like, we're going to fight him. And then Rowan was like, "Oh, I'm going to use this power." Will's like, "No, you can't handle it." And Rowan's like, "Yes, we need to." So she's like, "Ah!" But then it wasn't enough. And, she got beaten down. And then, and so then, you have Will... And he comes up, and he's just, like, trying to, fight off whatever he can. He's got the ice magic and all, control magic and all this other stuff. So then, all of a sudden, he gets this idea where he's like, "You know what? This blood avatar is kicking our butts. I'm just gonna..." And then he starts, like, moving his hands around. And then you start to see this faint red halo start to appear above the blood avatar's head. And he's trying to control it. And then Extus comes in and starts fighting Will, and Will's like, "Oh, I'm losing it." And then Rowan comes up from behind Will and is like, "Here, take my power," and like touches his back or whatever and starts feeding him with all this power. And all of a sudden he's just like, takes control of this blood avatar, and he just like grabs Extus in his hands and just blows him up, basically squeezes him, and he just all over the place. And then he just lets go, the blood avatar goes away. And then, all the while, check this out, I forgot. Luca, once the siege had happened and he saw that the blood avatar was summoned, he goes, "All right, I'm done. Peace. I'm out of here." Breaks the bond.
Really?
All the Auric soldiers get attacked by the mage hunters. It's total chaos. It was amazing.
Oh my gosh.
And so, anyway, so blood avatar is dead. The mage slayers end up getting either, shooed away or killed or whatever. and all is well. And here's the coolest part. I swear to God, here's the coolest part. It's like the epilogue, right? After the story's over,
right?
You see a classroom, and there's Professor Onyx standing in front of everybody. Turns to the blackboard and writes, Lesson 1, Necromancy. And turns to the class and says, Class, I will be your professor, Liliana Vess. And
Wait, now one moment. Wasn't there like some other things that end up happening? Like Will loses a leg, and something about essentially Rowan channels the ley lines of the plane that she's on, and
Through
Will
the
is
snarl.
the controller of it.
Something to that effect. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, like I said, there was a lot of stuff that, I kind of glazed over, but trying to get to the, the main
Meat and
parts.
potatoes.
The meat and potatoes, exactly. So,
And then, like, there's another meat and potato moment that's really offhand, like earlier, when Liliana goes to meet Belladros and is like, hey, don't you have something where you could reanimate Gideon? And,
that's right.
I remember there was a time you did this for the dean's son, and he's like, yeah, that's different. I don't have the ability to do that, or I don't want to do that. And she's like, well, I guess I'm biding my time until you do.
That's right.
Yeah, there's a lot of great stuff going on there. So it's really interesting because, what was it? Killian and the Ink Duelist reanimates somebody and uses the Lich spell from Liliana's book. And there's a bunch of cool stuff.
Yeah.
In the secondary story, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just love the fact that the story ended with, her basically coming out and you know that she's going to start just teaching everybody.
Oh, yeah. She definitely has nowhere to hide anymore.
Right. I mean, she obviously very powerful. There were episodes where she definitely showed her power, in battle. There were moments where someone sent like a dark energy bolt at her, and then she just froze it in front of her, turned it around, and sent it back twice as powerful. But yeah, the whole story was basically about Will and Rowan, and then Liliana was kind of there too. But I'm very curious to see if they follow this up with anything. They did leave it pretty wide open for if they were to revisit Strixhaven. And I'm all for going to different planes, but this one kind of pulled me in after I was done reading the story. It was more interesting than I gave it credit for.
Yeah, no, this was a really well done story, and I'm happy to see that it's back in the creative team online.
Right, definitely. So. Now that we've filled you in on the goings-on in Strixhaven, oh boy, we are about to head into quite a current event segment of all news segments. So why don't we head on into our news segment?
Now, with the news that we've got, there's so much. I mean, where do we really start?
Well, there's been a huge announcement from Wizards this past week going over a lot of product that they will be coming out with. And it's a lot. But I think the shining star right on top of everything that has people's interest is the new Modern Horizons 2 set. I mean...
Oh, that's for sure. That is for sure.
Yeah, from cards included that have been spoiled so far to art treatments for borders. It's all over the board. I mean, Greg, what's the first thing that pops into your mind when I say Modern Horizons 2?
Is it Urza Saga? I think it's Urza Saga. Urza Saga pops into my main pretty quickly.
That's a good one. That's a really good. I mean, it's so many things in one, right off the top.
It really is.
Have we ever had an enchantment land before?
Not unless I made it.
Right? Right? I mean,
Wait. So I copy artifact, an artifact land, right? And then I get an enchantment artifact land?
You absolutely do. There you go. And don't forget, it's also a saga. What is going on?
And it's like, it just does everything.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
let me
surprising.
Let me pull it up here, unless you have it in front of you and want to go for it.
I definitely have it in front of me. So we've got the first saga where it taps add a colorless. And then the second part of it is it gains tap 2, tap it, create a 0/0 colorless artifact creature, artifact construct, artifact creature, blah, 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 colorless construct, artifact creature token. With this creature, gets +1/+1 for each artifact control. So it makes an Urza token.
Right.
Or a Karn token.
Karn token,
and then search your library for an artifact card with mana cost 0 or 1 and put it on the battlefield, then shuffle.
Notice that does not say
That's powerful.
1 or less. That's pretty key wording right there, because this is, when you're looking for cards to pull with this, it has to either say 1 or it has to say 0 in the mana cost.
So no Lotus Bloom, no Mox Tantaline.
Well, maybe, but more so like if it's a permanent that has it's like a 1 plains, 1 white, 1 blue, 1 green.
What, you mean I can't go and get my Dispeller's capsule with this?
No, you can't. No, unfortunately, no. But you can go grab Graph Digger's Cage, or you could also go grab a Universal Solvent.
I mean,
why not?
I'd rather get something else, but okay.
Sure. No, there's so many things. Well, let's talk about it for a second, because there's a lot of artifacts that cost either
there
1
really
or 0.
Are.
And this card exists in all formats. So like right off the bat, I'm thinking about potentially. I don't know if I want to go there first, but I mean, Soul Ring. Obviously, it's
Soul Ring in EDH is great, but I think getting Sensei's Divining Top in EDH is a much better play.
I definitely think you're right on that one.
But what about the vintage play where you go and get a Black Lotus?
Oh, that's or in the EDH play where you go and get Jeweled Lotus. Like, it's so good. It's so good. Now, let's also point out that this is a land that is an enchantment that is also a saga, so it will go away after its last chapter. So,
but wait, can't you just reanimate it or bring it back with like a Crucible?
You could. You absolutely could replay it with a Crucible. You could put it on the top of your deck with the Hall of Heliod's Generosity, because it's an enchantment. Oh, man.
Man, it just gives you so much value.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So definitely down with Urza's Saga. Let's move on to another card that is quite spicy here. The card's called Diamond Lion. So
you mean the one everybody and their mom's talking about?
Yeah, that Diamond Lion. So
the card's super good. I mean, I can't blame them for wanting to talk about it.
I think
doesn't want Lion's Eye Diamond on a creature.
Right. I think your assessment is absolutely correct. It's very good. It's 2 mana. For a 2/2, you tap it, discard your hand, sacrifice it, add 3 mana of any one color. Activate only as an instant. Had to say that, I guess. Now let's just
because it's not a mana ability.
That's true. That's
a big change. That's a departure.
Okay, I understand why now. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, well, obviously you activate it anytime you could do an instant, but. Okay, that makes sense. So, yeah, it's a creature that is a Lion's Eye Diamond, right? I mean, obviously, Lion's Eye Diamond costs you 0, and it has the same effect. It can be used the turn it comes into play. right? This has to exist for a whole turn cycle before you can use it unless you have a haste enabler. But that's not to say that if you knew this was in your deck, you couldn't build it appropriately to where you could take full advantage of actually using this. Not only using it, but abusing it in a way that you could abuse a creature to get you mana. Like if you had a way to potentially... Oh, what is it? If you have a Machias, right?
My goodness.
And a Malira, so they couldn't get the counters, right? You just have infinite mana. So that's, one way. Unless it was... but you have to give it haste. That's true, too.
It's easy. Come on.
It's Commander. I know you could do it. So I'm thinking, just the same way people were looking at Jeweled Lotus going, it's garbage. It can only be used for your Commander. Get out of here. And now it's busted. I think the same thing is going to happen with this Diamond Lion.
Oh, totally.
I mean, cause it's
totally.
mostly going to exist in Commander, in my opinion.
I think Modern's going to get a lot of play out of it.
You think it will? Okay. Interesting.
I think it will. Because there is... actually, pretty much anywhere. Because I think, if I'm not mistaken... Yeah, that does. Do you know what card lets you play this from your graveyard?
What card?
Luris.
Yes! Oh, yeah, Luris.
I mean, I'll cast a Diamond Lion every turn. It's Cat Tribal, too.
This is true. So you could, the turn you play Diamond Lion, I mean, you couldn't play it, but then the next turn, you could activate it and then replay it so that you could use it in the following turn. That is true.
Yeah. So it does a lot of good stuff.
But then you'd have no hand. What would you be using
that mana You don't play in your graveyard? I mean, I could definitely see a Lurish Dredge deck.
Oh, okay. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
But all the Dredge
thing
cards,
is that
aren't
this
they
is going to
permanents?
give you things like Charbelcher, a playable deck.
Aren't all the good Dredge cards permanents that are over 2 mana?
I mean, there has some.
I mean, sure, you have some. Okay, all right. That's interesting. Let's see if
and one moment, isn't there a card in this called Brainstone, which is pretty much a brainstorm?
Okay,
but an artifact.
Okay, this is a fun looking card. Mostly, and I heard this. To be perfectly honest, the inspiration I got from this idea I got from the MTG Goldfish podcast, but. This is a brainstorm that you can use in any color in Commander. And it makes...
It's true.
Things like mono white or mono red, able to draw cards, manipulate their hand, and then shuffle away stuff if you're using things like fetch lands or other shuffle effects. I really see this being not in every deck, but I can definitely see it being in a lot of decks.
Oh, it's playable in those decks that need that extra card draw. And I mean, having it in some of those decks, like the black-white with Luris and just a bunch of the new Reanimate. I mean, one moment. What about this new Osgear deck?
What do you mean Osgear deck?
Osgear the Reconstructor. So Osgear's red-white, and you can pay 1 with Osgear on the battlefield and get 2 Brainstones by exiling it from your graveyard.
Huh. Okay.
After you already brainstoned.
So you're effectively getting 3. That's not bad.
I mean, heck, you could do that with a Diamond Lion, too, in the same deck.
Well, I think you're on the way to something here, man. I think you are on your way to something.
I could be.
Another card that is now getting introduced for the first time into Modern is Counterspell. It's blue.
Yeah.
Blue for an instant. Counter target spell. Unconditional. Greg, your thoughts on Counterspell being introduced to Modern?
I understand that the card is super powerful and it's super good. But I do not think it's going to see as much play just because of the fact of that double blue.
Yeah.
It doesn't let you. You literally have to change the way you play in Modern because there's so many 2x or 3x color decks.
Right. But you also exist in a world with fetch lands and shock lands and a mana base that can promote a blue on turn 2 with a multicolored output on turn 3. Or even like if you wanted to cast a red on turn 1 for something like Lightning Bolt, and on turn 2 you could have, Steam Vents and Breeding Pool and be able to cast Counterspell, and you have Teamer color combination. The flexibility on your mana base is there.
Yeah.
You're paying for it with life, but there's definite benefit to having a catch-all on turn 2, because then you're gauging the deck you're playing against. Where's the worst threat, and where can I put this counterspell? Now, if you're playing against something like Mono Red, where they're just like red, and you're dead, different story. But I just think that in the place of Remand, in the place of Mana Leak, in the place of...
Oh, yeah, sure.
This is going to be...
I think these are good cards. It's just, this is going to change the format so much. Like, even if we do get a mono blue control deck, our televised play that will be coming back, spoiler alert, it's just going to make the game so slow, and it won't be good Magic.
Well, let me ask...
Who wants to watch two people playing with mana open until they get their WinCon bomb?
Okay, well, can I interest you in an Izzet deck running Baral, Counterspell, Mana Leak, Lightning Bolt, Cathartic Reunion. You know what I'm talking about?
Still two colors.
That's true, but you can now introduce Counterspell alongside Mana Leak, because I feel like those are two counterspells that are incredibly strong in Modern. But if you're talking about something like Essence Scatter, that's not as powerful. Or Negate, it's not as powerful.
True.
But
True.
if you were to put Catch-Alls in the 2-drop spot, and now you have 8 counterspells that are like that, that's a lot more powerful, in my opinion. But
all right.
I think that, like I said, the mana bases are there if you want to run blue alongside something else, but now there's definite hope for you to be able to counter a lot more stuff and actually control, build more control decks in Modern. But
I guess I could see the point as it's playable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think we're going to get a test run of it. It's going to be playable for the next year, and then it'll be gone.
Yeah. Well,
because what's Modern been the most known for?
Degenerate combo decks. Solitaring.
That get banned.
Playing things. Yes, exactly. But now that, like I said, you've got more catch-all counterspells, maybe the days of combo decks are numbered. I don't know. And you've also got Force of Negation, which is totally legal in Modern.
It's true.
I'm very curious to see how this turns out. It could go either way, but degenerate combo decks definitely are much more attractive. I might say fun to play too. But then let's not forget about this other card that was introduced to Modern from not Modern before, Sanctum Prelate.
Getting that old border, new art look.
Oh, that does look very nice. I love it.
Did you read that flavor text?
No. What does it say?
It says this area is off limits to you. This could totally be in Strixhaven.
That's true. The art even looks like it. Yes, absolutely. 100%. So this again, being from a conspiracy set first, I believe. Now legal in Modern. For 1 white, you get a creature, Human Cleric. So Cleric, there you go. As Sanctum Prelate enters the battlefield, choose a number. Non-creature spells with mana value equal to the chosen number can't be cast. Ouch.
I definitely run this in my cleric EDH deck to say no damnations or wrath of gods, no Dave judgments, no Sky Shroud claims.
Those are good. Those are great.
Yeah.
Great options.
To say no to.
Right? Yikes. I mean, it is global, so it does prevent you from casting it as well. But
It doesn't bug me much. Most of my deck's creatures anyways.
that's true. That's true. Good point. Okay, so those are some cards.
But what about the real big thing about Horizons?
Oh. There's a bigger thing?
Yeah, like the real reason why people are buying it.
You mean counterspells not a big enough reason for people to be buying Modern Horizons 2?
No, nope.
Wizards need another reason to sell packs?
Yeah. They're putting Rick in it.
Oh, Rick, the ultimate crossover. All of us, Rick and Morty, Modern Horizons 2. You heard it here first, right on the win condition. No, what possibly could actually be happening?
Rare enemy fetch lands.
Burning Catacombs, Scalding Tarn, Mystery Rainforest, Marsh Flats, Arid Mesa. You know you want it. They're bringing it to you. How are they bringing it to you, Greg?
Well, they're going to be having it as the normal frame, of course, right? You're also going to have the opportunity to get that old border like we saw in Time Spiral Remastered.
Ooh, that's nice.
There will also be an extended art option that you can get as well. But I think the biggest thing to look at is the fact that we are getting this at rare level. And they also came out and said that this is not going to be a short print set like Time Spiral Remastered was.
So you're saying there's 3 versions of all 5 enemy fetch lands, normal and foil, that you can get?
I mean, at least 3 that we know of.
Wow. Okay. Whew.
Yeah, that's a lot, isn't it?
That's quite the selling point, to be honest.
Can you handle that much information?
I cannot. My bank account cannot handle this information either.
That's for sure.
It's crying in advance. So we'll just let's scroll on up here to the next bit of previews before my money
Juicy
just
spiciness
sees itself out my wallet. Exactly.
Wait, whoa! Are those basics with flavor text?
So, in the world of Dungeons and Dragons, storytelling is of the utmost importance. You have, for those who maybe never played D&D, aka Dungeons and Dragons, I'll just give you the brief description. It is a role-playing game played mostly with your imagination. You roll
and dice.
Yes, you roll stats for characters of different classes that you then use to progress through adventures, to complete quests and gain treasures and whatnot. The whole entire game is told as a story from the DM, aka Dungeon Master. And they are the ones who kind of dictate the flow of how things go down. Things like combat or interactions are mostly judged based off of rolling of the dice, obviously with mathematics involved to determine outcomes. But anyway, so with storytelling being such a big part of Dungeons and Dragons, this crossover between Magic and Dungeons and Dragons, which is in essence a Wizards on Wizards IP crossover. That's right, they're doing themselves. We have the most basic of basic cards in Magic the Gathering spiced up a little bit. Greg, why don't you let us know what we're looking at
here? They're not
here.
Pumpkin spice lattes.
Oh no. No.
So what we're really looking at
spice.
here it was just that basic.
It came full circle. Okay, got it. Go.
So each of these basic lands are going to be talking about the different realms that you come into and encounter in the Forgotten Realms area. Because, of course, just like Magic, D&D has multiverse theory and different realms of worlds. So it's each of them talking about the different areas. So you have the elves, you have the dwarves, you have the liches that have left, the maelstrom for islands, and the deserts for plains.
Right. And the lands, instead of having the land symbol, I mean, they do have the land symbol kind of baked into the background, but...
Well, yeah, but they're still giving you text there of each of the areas, yeah.
Right. So having flavor text on basic lands is quite the flavor win in a Dungeons & Dragons set. And on top of that, we also got a couple cards here to preview for this set, which some of these are kind of crazy and pretty exciting.
I don't know. That portable hole.
That's where I was going to go to. Why don't you talk to us?
You got a bag of holding with that?
Can tell us about your portable hole, Greg, please.
So portable hole is a 1 white artifact. When it enters the battlefield, you exile target non-land permanent opponent controls with mana value 2 or less until portable hole leaves the battlefield. They fall for it every time, is the flavor text. And essentially, portable hole has always been a card that allows you to drop an opponent in. You can use it to walk through walls. It gives you a lot of flexibility. And here we are getting it to get rid of anything. The age-old thing is that if you put a bag of holding into a portable hole, it turns into an orb of annihilation.
Oh, wow. Is that a Dungeons & Dragons reference right there?
That is definitely a Dungeons & Dragons reference.
Wow. Holy! So are we going to see that card also come out in this set, do you think?
I mean, I won't be surprised if we see an Orb of Annihilation as a way to, possibly destroy all permanents. Non-land permanents.
Okay. And another card we'll talk about here in a minute, I think, is also a callback to a major character in the Dungeons & Dragons universe. But let's stick to this portable hole here for a minute.
Are you talking about the Innkeeper?
No, not yet. But let's take a look at this. Also, this is an artifact that just costs you 1 white, and can wipe out not a creature, not an artifact, any permanent with a value.
Right.
What is non-land? Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, EDH. Obviously, you got your mana rocks, your soul rings, your other maybe problematic cards, any stacks type things. Enchantments also that might cost you 1 or 2, or planeswalkers. Tybalt, there you go, exactly.
Renin 6.
Yes, absolutely. So I just think this card is really, really good and is going to see a lot of play in a lot of different places. Standard maybe you'd see it a little bit here and there. But other formats where
it's going to be playable.
Yeah, it will.
Definitely.
It will. It takes any token out too. So
yeah, it does.
You got 5/5 tokens, 6/6 tokens, whatever. Portable hold.
Almost any token.
Get rid of it. Right.
Because if you're making copy tokens of creatures, that's a different story.
Right. So. But yeah, no, that card I think is really, really, really good. But then yes, to move on over here to talk about your Innkeeper, our second Innkeeper that we will have in standard available, Prosperous Innkeeper. So this card here is 1 and a green for a 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, create a treasure token. And then whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life.
I think you're glossing over the best part of this card.
Which is... It is a halfling
It's a halfling citizen.
That's okay. True. So we get halflings in this set. That is very
halflings
interesting.
are in Magic now, and citizens, which is a new creature type.
That's true. That is very, very true. Thank you for bringing us back to that, as that is very pertinent when it comes to...
But this card is definitely a great add-in to like Soul Sisters.
It is. And it ramps.
Because it ramps, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does a lot of good stuff. It really does.
At uncommon, that's impressive. Like I am genuinely taken aback by Prosperous Innkeeper. Yeah.
It just makes me think what other type of citizens we're going to get. Town Guard.
That's true. That is true. What other type of halflings are we going to get as well? Are we going to get halfling warriors?
I'm wondering if we're going to get a Goliath.
Okay. Okay.
A half giant.
This is
what those are.
This is making me wish I played a lot more Dungeons and Dragons when I was a kid.
Hey, don't worry about it. You got plenty of time to jump in now.
Only briefly, but yes, this is definitely intriguing. Moving on to our next one, we have Vorpal Sword. So this is 1 black for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has Death Touch. Equips for black. Oh, wait, there's another thing. 5 black. Until end of turn, Vorpal Sword gains whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game.
You know, this card is going to be a real problem in Standard because of all the unblockable rogues.
Sure. I guess Rogues does get you to turn 8. That could be a thing. That definitely could be a thing.
I mean, it's not going to be like a good thing, and in EDH is where this card's really going to get played. But I'm not a huge fan of any card that just says "I win the game."
Right. Well, no, it doesn't say that. It says yes, they lose the game. So give them double strikes, so they lose twice.
Hey, are you a '90s kid?
I am a '90s kid.
You just lost the game.
Oh, jeez. Anyway, so talk to me about this. It's 1 black for an equipment. Equip costs of 2. Equip creature gets +2/+0 and has Death Touch. Is that relevant?
Yep. I mean, Death Touch is always relevant.
Okay. All right.
Right? I mean, you put that on a first strike creature and you're just killing everything.
That's true. But would you say the main draw of this card is in the big payoff?
You know, the big payoff is really great, but I don't think it's the end all. But honestly, equipment in Standard is not where you're playing.
Right. True.
It's got to be
unless it's
stronger than this and give you like, sure.
Yeah.
But that's good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I got you. I mean, you could put this thing on like a Goblin Sharpshooter or something and have fun.
Oh, that's so good. But that's modern.
That is modern, yeah.
And you know, at that point, you might as well just run Basilisk Collar.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is true.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I want to say this next card here is.
Well, are you gonna get the power word kill yet?
We could do that one. Go for it.
So this is a age-old classic in D&D. It's power word kill. So essentially in D&D there are power words that allow you to just do the thing, and power word kill allows you to do the exact same thing. Kill something. This is a 1 and a black, destroy target non-angel, non-demon, non-devil, non-dragon creature. Essentially, you can kill anything except those because they have magic protection.
Nice.
And this card is it's a really solid removal spell. It's also an instant.
Very true.
I don't know if it's better than Doomblade, but it's pretty good.
It is. Well, I mean, this can hit black creatures. But in terms of, gameplay and Standard, I don't think there's too many angels or demons or even devils that are a part of it. The only thing I can think of is dragons because, I mean, we've had Goldspan Dragon from Kaldheim.
Oh, yeah, that card's so good. Played
pretty prevalently, but then we also have, dragons showing up in, I think there's like a Is It Dragons deck that's out there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's always going to be a thing.
Right. The whole cycle of dragons from Strixhaven as well, but on the whole, I agree with you. I think this is going to be a very effective removal spell used in lots of decks, and I would not be surprised if we started to see a metagame shift to decks that involve more, of these creature types to avoid power word kill because it is so strong. But
It is a good card. It's a good card.
right, yeah, 2 mana instant kill a creature, always good. So
Yeah.
I miss go for the
All right.
throat.
So with that, I'll let you get to the last card.
Okay, so this last card we have here is called Tiamat. And Tiamat is 2 white, blue, black, red, green for a legendary creature, Dragon God. Flying, 7/7. When Tiamat enters the battlefield, if you cast it, search your library for up to 5 dragon cards not named Tiamat that each have different names. Reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle. Great thing we play this format called EDH, where you can only have one of each card in your deck. So when you cast this guy for 7 mana, you get a 7/7 flyer, search your library for 5 dragon cards, put them in your hand. That seems pretty darn fun to me. What do you think?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. You notice how they say if you cast it, because they don't want you to play this for free in an Dragon deck.
That is true, but doesn't that just reduce the cost?
But Dragon allows you to put a permanent into play when a dragon attacks.
Oh, that's true. Okay, gotcha. Okay, then yes, I can see that.
But yes, you can cast it off of things like Sunbird's Invocation.
Right. Or what is it? Maelstrom Archangel.
There's so many good things. That's just that puts it into play.
Oh, dang it. Okay. All right.
But yes, this card is super strong. It does so many things. Maelstrom Wanderer would cast it.
Oh, that's true. You could definitely cascade into this thing. Holy moly. Okay, well, yeah, we got a big dragon that does big dragon things. Lets you tutor up a lot of...
It's pretty good. This is the most evil dragon of all evil dragons.
Oh, really?
Because all your chromatic dragons are evil. So your red, your white, your black, your green, and your blue dragon. They're all evil.
And that is a function of just the D&D universe. That's just kind of how they are?
Yep, that's the rule.
Huh. Interesting.
And then, what is the
last thing that we want to talk about here is this. I absolutely love what they're doing here. This is a promotional card that you can only obtain when you spend, I think it's $50 at your local game store. You will get a promotional foil, old bordered, fabled passage. And I think this is an absolute win-win-win across the board. This is an example, small example, but an example of Wizards saying, hey, local game stores are where a lot of the paper magic is going on. We're going to throw them a bone and let them reward people for buying stuff there. They need
they just threw another bone
of this.
You know that, right?
What other bone did they throw?
Secret Lair Ultimate Edition 2.
I did see that. I didn't know that was an exclusive to LGSs.
Yeah, you cannot buy that online unless you're an LGS selling it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's exciting. I did not know that.
It's pretty nice, yeah. And you get the 10 borderless MDFCs, and you also get yourself a Blast Zone.
A promo Blast Zone?
Yep. There's a special art Blast Zone.
Oh, I haven't even seen that one yet. Interesting. Wow. Well,
surprise.
That's cool. But yeah, I just think, especially coming, through this pandemic, it is of utmost importance that local game stores receive, love,
some
and
support and help. Yeah, that's for sure.
I received word, sadly, I want to say a couple weeks ago, that a store that I had frequented over in Berkeley decided to shut down. There's
been some other big things about stores in the Bay Area going on too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Eudaimonia, if you didn't know, has decided to shutter its shop. It's not a huge surprise for most of us here in the area just because of the fact that most of their business was based off of their internet cafe and not so much off of their gaming.
Yeah. They definitely had a lot of people coming in and playing on their computers, but that was a great store. One of the best singles collections that you could find kind of in the Bay Area, at least in the Eastern Bay Area, but
kind of at the time. Now there's other stores that are doing better. Games of Concord, Games of Antioch, and Games of Martinez are all pretty decent too.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Definitely not. And then you've also got Channel Fireball. Did you hear the big news about Channel Fireball?
No. Well, I mean, I've heard stuff about them, but what specifically are you talking about?
No longer in the singles game.
No way. No way. Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Channel Fireball has left the singles game, sold through all their stock, got it out. It looks like they're probably going to make the change to being only an event-based store and do single sales like TCG does. That's the expectation, at least. Nothing's been announced.
So you're talking about all online sales for them?
Yeah. Well, no. They'll allow other people to sell through them. So essentially what most companies do with leased product lines, Toys R Us does it, and like JCPenney's, well, JCPenney's not anymore. Macy's does it. And essentially you go up to them and say, hey, I'm a small store. I want to sell my stuff through your website. And they go, we will charge you this much to do it. And TCG right now is taking a lot of money out of people's pocketbooks. And Channel Fireball, with this type of mentality, may actually be able to provide a better marketplace.
That would be awesome. That would be super cool. I mean, I have, sold cards before online, and I've done it on eBay and whatnot. I haven't actually done anything on TCG Player, but it has definitely become quite the large platform for people to sell on. And when there's no competition, a lot of times you get hit with certain, fees or whatnot. And I think it's great that, Channel Fireball is providing a spot for, people to come and sell cards. That's not to say anything, super bad about TCG Player, but I think that a healthy competitive field in terms of sales of Magic cards is generally a good thing. So yeah, more power to you, Channel Fireball. Singles are they're a ton of work to maintain. So way to get that monkey off your back.
Right.
So, but yeah, man. Well, you know what? I think that actually is going to bring us to a spot where we might actually close out the episode here. We got to talk a lot.
I think you're right. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. I mean, there's one more thing I think we need to bring up.
Okay. All right. What's that?
And that's the real big elephant in the room. The lack of in-store play.
Ooh.
And with this big announcement that Wizards made last week, they came up with the announcement of May 28th is a cease on no in-store play. So that means that 28th, which is an FNM of Memorial Day weekend, you can go to your local game store, if your locality allows it, and play FNM.
Wow.
So big. It's a big change because, just being able to play Magic in-store is great. A lot of my stores, like my area, it's safe to go on and play, but I know in the LA area it still isn't. And that's true with some other states, but not all states are adhering to this. So they're pretty much in the boat of they have to open up and allow it to happen again.
Right. And if they're taking necessary precautions, there's ways to promote a safe environment to play games. Just speaking from experience, I did go down to Las Vegas a couple weeks ago. And when you walk into a casino, they have outfitted all their tables with plexiglass dividers among places where you actually sit to play the game. So,
nice. That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine if you were to go to a local game store, if they would have a setup like that, it would be a lot more, inviting for people to come and play and feel safe about playing indoors.
True. I'm in the board of I'm ready to just play. I'm fine with the 3 feet that schools are doing, and I think that's okay for us too.
I 100% agree. I would love to be able to sit at a table with a bunch of people and just play with no restrictions whatsoever. But I mean, obviously, you got to adhere to the times and do what everybody believes is right. But yes, I think overall, huge win to get an actual date.
Yeah.
On when we can officially get back into stores and play some real Magic.
Super win. Very excited.
Yeah. So on that note, we're actually going to go ahead and take it on home here. Greg, where can the fine folks listening to this episode find you?
I'm still on Twitter under NoobSlasher2003, I think.
And I am on Twitter at MTG_Sean. The show is at The Win Condition. Wow, Greg. Well, you know what? We did it. 2 episodes within a year. I think we're getting back on track.
We're on a better, aren't we?
We are, yeah. We didn't even get to our deck brewing segment. That is definitely one thing we want to get to. Greg and I do share interests in the deck brewing, mostly of the EDH variety, and we want to share some of our decks and card interactions with you moving forward. And I believe until we get some new story, we are going to get to delve into some historical characters, bios, which could get interesting.
Who should we get into?
I don't know, but if you do want to submit suggestions for us to talk about in our lore segment, definitely hit us up on Twitter. Hit us up on Instagram too. That's right. We're at The Win Condition on Instagram.
Yep.
The Win Condition Podcast at gmail.com. But yeah, thanks y'all for listening. We appreciate it. And Greg, thanks again.
Oh, always my pleasure. I look forward to lending some information so everybody can listen.
It's an information sensation. And we will talk to y'all next time.
Alrighty, guys. Have a great evening.